Welcome into a Heidemann 5 interview. Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart. As always, we're presented by Heidemann and Associates. And I talk all the time, if you just need someone to listen to you for 5 minutes, you think if you had 5 minutes to plead your case to a lawyer, they'd be able to help you out. Well, that's what we're doing. We work with Justin Heidemann because he will give you more than 5 minutes, but he's not going to charge you for a consultation.
Yeah, that's right. If you tell them the Rewind Network sent you, you'll get a free consultation from Heidemann and Associates, whether it's business, personal, maybe you want to get things set up for your kids or posterity. Give Heidemann and Associates a call. They'll take care of you. Call 801-754-4240.
This video is near and dear to my heart. For the first time in a long time, Carbon sweeps Emery in boys basketball, and we've got we've built relationships over the years, and one of our favorite relationships has been Coach Preston Condie, and it's been a pleasure of mine to know that his son has been starring at Carbon, and now they took care of Emery and swept him. Sadly, in the first year of my coaching mentor, Jeff Cisneros' run at Emery, but either way, Preston having a great year for the Dinos.
He's had a great year, Dusty, and we expected big things from this Carbon lineup this year. I know when we were doing our preseason kind of prognostications, we were both talking about how good we thought Carbon could be, and they've lived up to that this year. I know they've had a couple of losses they would love to have back, but they play in a very difficult region. Preston Condie has had a fantastic year along with the rest of that group, but this Carbon Dino squad has been impressive, and Condie has helped to lead the way.
He's averaging 17 points a game and leading Carbon in ways in the place that Carbon has been, well, since I was a little kid with Jeremy Jukes and Grady Buckmiller, and that is Preston Condie averaging 17 points a game. And Preston, I don't know, I got to go back and just double check this, but I think it's the first time Carbon has swept Emery in boys basketball since Jeremy Jukes and Grady Buckmiller back in the 93-94 season. So I had told your dad if you did that I was going to give you some love. So here you are, man. But thank you for taking the Dinos and sweeping Emery, even though my guy Jeff Cisneros has to take it on the chin.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good, especially for a rivalry team. I've always been told that rivalry games are huge, and just winning both of them feels really good, especially in your senior year.
Now just go break into Emery and get me the coal bucket back. And if you bring it to me, then I will keep it in. I'll keep it on our show.
Well, I mean, pretty recently we got it back, but then they just took it back right after.
Yeah, what happens?
Yeah.
Preston, I don't know if you know this. Dusty's actually an alum of Carbon, and so it's great. Yeah, I had to tease a little bit because that is a well documented fact. But it's great to be able to have a Dino here, and would love to hear just your experience. What has it been like at Carbon High School? Dusty talks a lot about Memory Road and some of his favorite things growing up in Wellington and Carbon County. But what have been some of the things that you've really appreciated or learned in your time at Carbon High School?
Well, the one thing at Carbon High, I showed up as a sophomore, coming from Mount Pleasant, and it was a coach, brand new environment, especially coming from a school like Wasatch Academy. And I just loved how inviting they were. My first friends were the basketball team. It was right after school. We were doing workouts, and they were like, hey, come on, I know you play basketball. And then all of a sudden I just became friends. And that's one reason why our team is so well chemistry. We're just a good team because we have great chemistry, because we're all friends. We all hang out with each other. We're brothers.
And Preston, this year, I've talked about being in places that hadn't been for a long time. Doesn't mean there hasn't been adversity. I mean, even this week, you guys had that game against Grand where you're right there, and then the end of the fourth quarter, just nothing went right. So how do you shake off what happens on Tuesday to get ready to go out to Emery, where they're having the worst season since before Todd Jeffs got there, for heaven's sake, where you guys weren't going to drop the ball with them coming into the building at Carbon High?
Well, the thing is, after the loss against Grand, coach told us it was just the little things that we had to do, and we would have won that game if we just fixed those little things. But then when we were going against Emery, we told ourselves we are not losing against Emery at home. Absolutely not. And we promised ourselves that we would become a top team in region, possibly be region champs, and be a solid team in state.
And the other part, Preston, help people understand, because so much of our viewership goes 5A, 6A, even 4A, and talk about going on the road. But you, and I tell this to Dane all the time, you don't know road until you go play in 3A, 2A, and 1A in the state of Utah. What's it like when you see he's doing right now? You got to go to Blanding here pretty soon. What's it like getting ready for a basketball game when you've got a 5-hour road bus ride to go play a region game? What's that like?
It's terrible, honestly. I'm just happy that it's a Friday night, so that I don't have to worry about their school the next day. But it's really hard when you realize that the closest team was about 45 to an hour away, and then next thing you know, our last game before state is a really long drive.
Well, I was just going to say, so Preston, I have to ask, right? You talked about you moved in there as a sophomore. When you think back on your career, what has been that thing that you take the most pride in, or you think back most fondly, like, oh man, that was a good night, that was a great game? What's that memory for you in your time?
I would just say is when I start scoring a lot, then I'm just feeling great and everything, and then I get really hyped and I get really motivated, and then especially when the team scores, then I'm also with them, giving them high fives, pounding the back, saying yeah, you got this, and we're gonna win this game.
Okay, I know Coach Butler's your coach now, but put that aside. Who gets after you more, or got after you more? Because I know he still worked with you this offseason. Your dad or Kyle Wilson?
My dad. My dad.
Is he scarier than Kyle?
Scarier than the devil himself.
I think he's got some former players that agree with you. But But Preston, man, go ahead, Dane.
Sorry, let me ask one more question. Who wins a game of horse between you and your dad?
Of horse? Me, guaranteed.
Free throw contest. Okay, what about a free throw contest?
Oh, still me. No, don't even. No.
What will seal that is if you stay away from that school in Logan. You stay away from the school in Logan, you will shoot free throws for the rest of your life. You make your way up there, it might go away. So, but Preston, hey man, just so proud of what you guys are getting done. I'm excited to see you get to the state. It's going to be a little bit different to the state's tournament site for the third time in the last 30 years. Please make that happen. And that happens again, we're going to have you back. But maybe I'll even make a special award for you. But just love to find our way to get down to Dino Way sometime. But congratulations on the year. Thank you for taking care of Emery. And we'll catch up with you soon, bud.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
It's always fun because, I remember when Preston was a sophomore and he moved into Carbon because Kyle was the head coach at the time and my oldest friend. And but it's also fun to still see the rivalry between Preston and especially Curtis, because you know how those Aggies are, Dane. They're very, very proud of their past.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of fun to see the rivalry between Dusty and Utah State as well shine some light there. You can go on a certain person's Facebook page, a.k.a. Coach Condie, and he's posted video of he and Preston actually demonstrating their shooting abilities at a Utah State game back in 2015. And it's no wonder that Preston has been one of the top scorers in the classification this year, because that kid can stroke it. Could back then, can right now, and it's great to see him help this Carbon program. Dusty, I know, I sit next to you very frequently. I know how much you care about Carbon. It's great to be able to see some pride in that program and have a legitimate opportunity to contend for a region championship, a state championship in a prime sport like boys basketball. We don't cheer for teams. In this case, we'll cheer for old Carbon. And, be fun to see how the 3A state tournament shakes out. But this has been a gritty squad and one that is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Hey, when we don't do the state tournaments, I don't worry about the whole media efficacy thing, right? I want my Dinos to take it home. And tell you what, they win a state championship, I will be on Dino Drive welcoming back that bus. I promise you that right now. But, Preston, rather, so glad to have him on, and what a great year, and especially Curtis, a great friend of ours as well. But anytime I can talk to a Dino, I'm going to take the absolute advantage of that opportunity. But for Preston Condie, Dane Stewart, and Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us. I'm watching the Heidemann 5 on Rewind.